Hello, this is Andrew Harding, and I'm going to read you a second extract from the story called A Pair of Spectacles. You might recall that at the end of the first part, the equerry bird comes back to the Agnes, saying that the Queen has left her reading spectacles behind there. She has only gone and left her bloody reading spectacles behind. I have to get them to her quickly. She has a speech at 4 o'clock and needs to look over beforehand. Oh, goodness, do you know where she left them? I haven't the foggiest. Jimmy, isn't it? Yes, I'm the one who delayed Her Majesty and got you annoyed. I smiled sweetly at him. Indeed, so you did, but this is much more annoying. Believe me, the whole itinerary is going to pot. Well, okay, Mr. Bird, let's look at it systematically, shall we? How did you know my name was Bird? Well, actually, I didn't, but let's start in the lounge. He looked bewildered. We went inside and recruited Kem, who was chatting to the receptionist to help us. Before long, there were 10 people searching the building for the royal reading spectacles. They are horn-rimmed specs in a brown leather case with the royal crest on it, screeched the equerry bird. £20 to the person who finds them. Now, £20 was a lot of money. You could go to more than 50 Warbies matches for that amount of money, or dine in at the Agnes for 3 months. Since it was offered, I was determined to be the one to find the missing spectacles. Instead of searching every nook and cranny, I stopped and considered the situation. I decided to try to use logic to discover where they were. She would have kept the specs in her handbag, and they would still be there if she had not taken them out. But why would she have done that? The Queen had toured the building, a part of the visit that would not have required reading spectacles, as there was nothing for her to read. She had then had tea with Lady Alice the Mayor and my parents. I called Mum on the intercom and asked her if Her Majesty had used her reading spectacles during tea. No, said Mum, she was just chatting with us, very friendly, really. She had 3 cups of tea and a tuna sandwich. And after that, where did she go? Well, she went to see you all at the lounge, Jimmy. Do you remember if she was carrying any reading matter? No, just her handbag. It was puzzling. There seemed to be no reason why the Queen would need her reading spectacles at any point in her visit to the Agnes. I stood in the reception area, from where I could see the equerry bird looking ever more exasperated, mopping his brow with a handkerchief and looking as if his life were endangered by the failure to find the Queen's specs. I was cracking my brains to work out what had happened. For what purpose could she possibly have needed them at the Agnes? 3 cups of tea and a tuna sandwich. Suddenly it came to me. She might have gone to the toilet after drinking 3 cups of tea. I ran as fast as I could to the ladies. There was no need to knock. I was just going to go in and see. I ran into the toilet only to find Mrs. Hammond in the process of adjusting her dress. Jummy, what you're doing here, my lad? This is the ladies, for heaven's sake. Well, just now it's the laddies, Mrs. Hammond. Sorry, this is a matter of national security. The Queen's spectacles. Well, goodness me, did she leave them here then? Possibly. I cast my eyes over the room. She might well have used her specs while adjusting her makeup. The counter in front of the mirror? Nothing. Except a dark shape next to a bottle of bleach in the corner. A brown shape with a royal crest which was revealed on examination to contain nothing other than a pair of indisputably royal reading specs. Grasping the case with glee, I made off, leaving Mrs. Hammond with an astonished expression on her face. Running quickly back to the lounge, I found everybody still searching and the equerry bird trilling in full song about the urgency of finding the spectacles. Don't worry, Mr. Bird, I have them right here. She left them in the ladies. Well, thank God for that. Here, let me have them, he croaked. Not without coughing up the 20 quid you promised, Mr. Bird. I held the case out of his reach as he tried to grasp it. Oh, damn you, yes, I suppose I did say. He reached into the jacket pocket just under his right wing and produced a wallet that seemed to contain more money than I'd ever seen before. He peeled off a £20 note and handed it to me. I'd rather have given this to anybody but you, Jimmy Emmett, you little rascal. Funnily enough, Mr. Equerry Bird, I'd rather have received it from anybody but you, you pompous old crow. Ah, you little Rascal, I completed his sentence. He raised his hand as if to strike me. At that moment, an imposing middle-aged man in a dark suit entered and called his name. Bird, what the hell are you doing, man? Where are the damn spectacles? She's asking for them. The equerry bird looked shocked and lowered his hand. Oh, goodness, Sir Michael, the specs are right here. I just recovered them. He handed them over. From me, Sir Michael, I interposed, who worked out that they were in the ladies' toilet. It was I who recovered them, and I was just rewarded with £20 for my efforts. Well, that's excellent, young man. Her Majesty will be very pleased to have them back. Cheap at the price, I would say. What? He patted me on the shoulder and gave the equerry bird a fierce glare. Turning back to me, he continued, and if I am right, you are the young man called Jimmy Emmett, whom the Queen mentioned as having interesting views on coeducation, eh? He winked at me. Yes, sir, that's me, Jimmy. Well, you will get a letter from the Queen. She was very pleased to meet you. He smiled broadly. The equerry's bird's face looked like thunder. Now, we must get back to the Civic Hall. Her speech is due to begin shortly.